Out for another walk with the dog. Really annoyed with myself actually. I'd filmed a load of footage that I was going to put up, and then realised that actually when I was putting it onto this editing program, I'd filmed it in the wrong, I think it's the aspect ratio or something. So certain parts were all sort of condensed and looked very crushed because I'd held the camera rather than horizontally, vertically. Nearly back now. I think my plan for the day will be to pull the van out and then perhaps show you guys a little bit of the inside and what my future plans are for it. Yeah, maybe how I want things to go inside of it, where I want things to go, and just hopefully how it will look once it's all finished. There's a van over there. Yeah. So I'll pull it out once I've got in, fed the dog, and then show you around a little bit. So as I said, I'm going to attempt to give a tour of the van and show people what my plans are for it. A lot of people think, when I get comments on Facebook and the van forums I'm on and things like that, a lot of people think the van's a lot taller than it actually is, but it's not, because it's an old van anyway. Newer vans are much bigger nowadays, but you can't, so for example on a Sprinter or even an Iveco, you can just step into the van and, well, I don't know, but I think you wouldn't potentially bash your head. I'm not that tall, and even I have to duck down getting into the van, but once you're in it you can stand up perfectly fine. It is tall, but to get in you have to kind of duck down. So I'm now in it, but I'm standing up perfectly fine. But as you can see, that's me standing up, and the doorway isn't really that high, and the floor's not raised or anything, it's just not that high a roof. So you've got the front of the van all here, where the driving is. At the moment everything's kind of, well, it's just tools and things. So there will be another seat there. I've taken it out. There was a double seat, but I'm going to put a single seat in there. More tools out the windows. It's quite nice to have a lot of light and lots and lots and lots of windows in here, because it makes it very bright. These ones are blocked off with tape for painting, and also the fan will add a lot of light and a lot of fresh air once that's going. That's a max fan, that is. So on the outside it kind of lifts up and closes down, and it sucks in and sucks out. There's another fan up here, and there will be a window there. Well, there is a window there. The story behind that was the original hole for the fan, which I cut by mistake, and I wanted it to be a bit closer, and rather than, I could have just filled it in, but I thought I'd make, because I like lots of light airy places, so I've put a window in there. Here are the windows that were originally here that I've now put and repositioned back here, and there's another one on the other side. So up, what you're looking at now, eventually, if you, well, I suppose if you run along the tape, eventually that up there will be a bedroom, and then underneath it I'm going to make into a living room to sit down with maybe a TV on the wall and a nice seating area there. Here, so as you come in again, I'm not very good at this tour. It'd help if there was stuff in there as well. As you come into the van, right there'll be a small seating area, and then a wall down there, which will be the wall of the bathroom toilet area. Here, where I think you can see there's a line going along, this will be the kitchen area. So the kitchen will run kind of halfway from the door, right the way back, up until, let's say, about that point there, where my proper living area and the bedroom will be. So the kitchen will run from the door down to about this point, and I'll have a cooker and a hob, sink. Opposite the kitchen will be the bathroom there, and that window will cover the bathroom as well, so that window won't be, well, it won't let any light out in when it's finished. And then on top of the kitchen somewhere, on top of one of the units, I plan on putting the wood burning stove, my Cubic Mini. Well, it's actually a Cubic Mini Grizzly. It's the slightly bigger one, which I think was, well, it could prove to be a mistake, because as you can see, it's already been opened, because I couldn't wait. So I've had it opened and blasting away sometimes out in the garden, well, under a covered area in the garden. Next to it is a roaster. This roaster sits on top, or you can put the fan, but the fan's meant to go on top, but this roaster sits on top of the Cubic Mini. Yeah, so it sits on there, something a bit like that, you see, and then the heat obviously goes through, and then you can, but I don't think you actually roast joints on it or something. I don't know if it even gets that hot, but I think you can put, I don't know, something on it. But that's a nice, but that will eventually be on the kitchen unit as well, so it will sit on top of that. I've got to cut a hole in the ceiling for the flue to go out of. Right, so yeah, I've managed to get it out just so I can show you this unit, the diesel heater. So that's my one. These are like, well, I don't really know actually, but something here is the exhaust and the air intake or something, and this little bit here is the fuel where the diesel goes in. And this is one of the air vents. Now, I don't know because I didn't really look into it, but it only seemed to come with one. But what's going to happen is my neighbour, he will put it all in for me. And rather than me use this diesel tank, he's going to tap it into the main diesel tank, which I'll show you in a sec, which is underneath the van. But he's got, because he works with motorhomes in a great big huge company that does them, he's got loads of spare ones of these and lots of piping. So what he's going to do is he's going to run 3 or 4 pipes around the van as well, so that it will heat up the bedroom, which will eventually be up there, down here where I'm sat now, currently in the living room, and then just round the kitchen area as well. So that's really handy. It's really kind he's going to do that. There's various different other bits in here. I think that's an exhaust for it. That probably goes on one of those bits at the bottom there. See, it probably goes on there somehow. There are instructions, but I've either lost them or they're somewhere out the back there. And there's, no, in fact, actually, I think that's part of the exhaust. So, yeah, so that would eventually go in. These, in fact, here we go. Here's the instructions there. Should have looked a bit harder. So that's my diesel heater. So that's what will happen is I will have 2 options of heating. The diesel heater, which will be sort of instant heat, and then just for sort of coziness, and to make it quite homely and nice in here, it will be the little wood burning stove. But that will sit up on a unit under the van. I don't know if you can, so that's where you fill it up. That's where you fill up the diesel. And then under here is actually, that's actually the diesel tank, but you can't really see it very much there. I'm such a moron sometimes, and I'm not mechanical in any way, shape or form. When I was tearing bits and bobs out of this van, so one of the things I took out was a great big huge water tank, which is just over here. See by those gas cans there? That was a great big huge water tank. That's going to be replaced with a newer one. But when I took that out and I was underneath the van, I spotted another tank, and I thought, oh, I could get loads of water in this van if I take that one out. It was only when my dad told me that's a bloody diesel tank. I obviously didn't do that. That would have been a real disaster. What I discovered actually, I can't go under there now, but I can try and show you, because it sits quite low, the van. But at the back here, when I was fiddling around underneath it, I noticed something which, for some reason, I don't know why, I thought that was the diesel tank, but you can see there's like a box. Can you see? And that box is big. So that would be a good place for storage. And things like dog food, and because I've got really big bags of dog food, they can go in there, and it's a nice handy little storage area to have. But yeah, there's still a lot to do. Lockdown's not helping, but we'll get there eventually. Well, that's the second one out of the way, second vlog. I just want to say, oh, you find it so boring, do you, Prince? Having a yawn. I just want to say I really appreciate the people that have watched the first one, and everyone that watches this one. It'd be great if you can subscribe. I'm really happy with the subscriptions so far. It's not what I expected. It was far more, and the views actually. But yeah, I'll keep trying to produce them, maybe every week, and see how they go. But for now, cheers again, and it's bye from me and Prince. But yeah, See you later. Cheers.